Been over 300 days, and now I stand with 2 titles on my shoulders. Today, history was made.
Hey guys, we are soon going to cover 3 different scenarios. We got Stephanie Vaquer, Mandy Rose, and Paige, now known as Saraya. But we're going to talk about the claim of Mandy Rose disputing Stephanie Vaquer's claim as the first women's double champion. Let's check out more at the Pink Square Circle. Hey guys, we're here at the Pink Square Circle. We'll talk about who's the first women's NXT double champion. We'll talk about who's the first double champion. Get the likes up as we come to the Pink Square Circle. We're going to talk about the whole thing of Stephanie Vaquer's double championship being disputed. Now, on social media, Mandy Rose has stated that she disputing that she is the first double women's champion in NXT history. We do know that Stephanie Vaquer just recently won both the NXT Women's title and the NXT Women's North American Championship. But on social media, they're really having a buzz going on about this. It's been really buzzing. The person said that they like that WWE tries to pretend that their own history don't exist. We're all stupid or something, but we do know Stephanie's not the first double champion. Don't let them fool you. And it basically saying that it's Mandy. And Mandy said, pretty pathetic, isn't it? Thanks for the recognition. Appreciate you. And the whole thing is who's the first women's double champion. And one photo, we have Stephanie Vaquer, who is currently holding both the NXT Women's Championship and the North American Championship of NXT brand. And then the other photo we have here is Mandy Rose, a former WWE talent who was also women's NXT champion and the women's NXT UK championship that she held when she unified both titles back in 2022. But we're going to go over each scenario, see who's the best one. Now, like I said, Mandy Rose here, we're going to give her credit, but it's crazy, though, that we also had a lot of double champions in history of wrestling, but we definitely had a lot going on in NXT brand as follows. But like I said, we'll go over each one because I want to talk about Paige or Saraya as well. But we'll go over each one because I think all 3 women here as a whole, when they held 2 titles or when they was NXT Women's Champion, they all did their thing. I'll give them their credit where credit's due. We all going to go start from when she started at the very beginning of the NXT era, 2012, 2013. Then later on, we had Mandy Rose, who was on the main roster, sent back down to NXT and had her run in 2021, 2022-ish, until she lost her championship to Roxanne Perez and will be released from the company back in late 2022. And then, of course, Stephanie Vaquer, who is recent right now, who has been on NXT long. She is now the women's NXT champion and the women's North American champion, the first woman to hold both of those titles. So the point I'm saying is NXT has changed the landscape over several years. We've seen the black and gold original, then we see the NXT 2.0, and now we got the revived black and gold, and now it's black and silver. But all women here definitely did thing. But I'm going to specifically touch on these scenarios of which women's the real double champion in NXT brand as follows. So let's start here with Paige. Paige was the NXT Women's Champion, the inaugural Women's NXT Champion. She held the belt for over 300 days. She defeated Emma in a tournament, but she got called to the main roster the night after WrestleMania back in 2014. She will go on to win the Divas Championship from AJ Lee. As a result, then GM of NXT, JBL, Paige had to vacate the NXT Women's Championship since she was a part of their main roster. And he said, since you're a part of the main roster, you can't hold 2 titles, one on NXT and one on Raw, which was the Divas title. Actually, this is when the brand split was over at this point. So she was on Raw and SmackDown with that championship. But that was her case there back in 2014 is when she had to vacate the belt. We got Mandy Rose here. Now, like I said, she got sent back down to NXT. She did her thing. She had her stable, Toxic Attraction. They did great. They was tag team champs, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. But she won this championship, being double champion, by defeating Miko Satomura, if I said her name right. She is retired now. But this made Mandy Rose a double champion, the NXT Women's Champion, the NXT Women's UK Champion. Now, I looked it up on the website. Mandy Rose is not recognized as the Women's NXT UK Champion because when she unified both belts became one, not two. So her claim really, she's really not a real double champion because she unified it. Now we got Stephanie. Well, it makes Stephanie different. While she has the first women's NXT double champion, she held a main roster, the main championship for the women's brand of NXT, which is the NXT Women's Championship, and also the Women's Mid-Card Championship, which she did hold first before the NXT Women's Champion, which is the Women's North American Championship, a championship that was introduced back in 2024 at NXT Battleground, with Kalani Jordan being the first ever champion. Now, she's the first woman to hold both of these championships, and these championships are NXT branded. They're not on main roster, they're not unified or anything. So the whole thing about it is, we got three different claims here of three different women who held two championships simultaneously. Now, the first case with Paige, she did hold on. She was unique. She held on to a main roster women's world title, which was the Divas Championship. Contrary to popular belief, I know some people don't really respect that championship as a real women's title because that was the Divas era, the butterfly, the design. I get it. Also, she held that in the NXT main women's title, which was the NXT Women's Championship. So that was a first. She held two major world titles. This is the difference is with Paige. One of those championships was not a part of the NXT brand. The Divas Championship was a part of the main roster brand, which is the reason why she had to vacate the NXT Women's Championship, because she was a part of the main roster brand now. She really wasn't part of NXT anymore. Thus why I can't really say Paige was the first real double champion of NXT. Then we have Mandy Rose. Like I said, Mandy Rose, great run. She had the championship, the NXT Women's Championship for 413 days. So she had one of the longest runs with the championship in its history to this day. But when she merged when she did unify that title and merged it with the NXT UK Women's Championship, the NXT UK Women's Championship was considered retired. That's the whole purpose of a unification match. We see this all the time. We see the men's matches too, but I'm talking about the women. When a woman does unify two titles in a match, they say, oh, they got two belts, they're the champion. Unified means they become one, only one championship. So Mandy Rose, despite what she claimed, and I give her credit, I see where she was coming from. But at the end of the day, you were also not the first real double champion because you unified one belt and made it to one. The NXT UK title and the NXT Women's Championship, both of those titles were really just the same belt, one title. Because Mandy Rose, if you look in history, she really was not even the last final champion of the NXT Women's UK Championship. It was Miko Satomura, if I said her name right again. She's really not credited to have that championship as a holder. Stephanie Vaquer, who held on two championships. She got two separate championships, and not only Stephanie Vaquer made history by holding the women's North American title, mid-card, and the women's main world title, she defended successfully on NXT this recent episode. She defeated Jada Parker in the opening match of NXT, and in the main event, she defended against Fallon Henley, a former women's North American champion, and she successfully defended it. She did not lose a championship. So Paige never got a chance to defend belt. She had to vacate one. Mandy Rose, you unified it. If we want to be technical, as far as technicality goes, Stephanie Vaquer is the first real women's NXT double champion in the history of NXT. There's no other way around it. Whether you like Stephanie, whether you don't like Stephanie, whether you feel different about her, However you feel about it, she's the first real double champion of NXT brand because she held 2 titles that no one else ever held. It was neither title she has, she vacated. Neither title she has at this time right now has not been unified or vacated. She's held on to both belts. Now, realistically, we know that Stephanie Vaquer will not hold on to both these championships forever. We know that it's too many women on the NXT women's brand. Someone's going to have to win the other championship, and I'm talking about the Women's North American Championship at some given point in time. But Stephanie Vaquer did something that neither Paige or Mandy Rose could do, and that's hold on to 2 belts for longer than just a day or a second. She didn't have to vacate or do anything. She defended. She held the division down with 2 separate belts. So that's why I dispute what Mandy Rose is saying. She's incorrect. You really want the first champ. Now, if you want to say you held 2 NXT women's brand titles at one point, just to hold them, you can say that. But to be the proper champion and to walk around with them, that really goes to Stephanie. You unified the title, Mandy Rose. And I don't understand why Mandy Rose lately, you got released from WWE late 2022 because the whole fan time story, you didn't want to, you want to keep your account so you could do your private stuff in adult entertainment, whatever you want to do. You know, she could have chose to delete that account and stay with WWE, but she chose not to, which is why she was released. She hasn't wrestled since then. She's been doing the fan time and other business venture. She has the podcast, Alpha Podcast, with her husband. I don't understand why Mandy Rose always wants to speak on what WWE is doing. If you're doing your own thing, why are you so focused on it? I understand why Mandy Rose may be upset because she knows that when Stephanie won, this is the real reason why she's upset, because she know they're trying to erase her from history. You know, Mandy Rose had that accolade. She held both titles for NXT at once, but now Stephanie has, you know, broke that record. Now she's doing it, and Mandy Rose feels slighted. But it's too bad. You're not with WWE no more. Your reputation is not the same, you know, as well as Paige, too. Both women, Paige and Mandy Rose, both women were involved with adult entertainment stuff that was not family-friendly for WWE, not professional at all, which led to their reputation being destroyed. It's not the same. So, yes, they wrote both of you women off history with holding 2 titles as well as holding a title alongside simultaneously with the NXT Women's Championship. Now, we forgot about Paige when Mandy Rose did it, and now we forgot about Mandy Rose when Stephanie Vaquer did it. So that's just how it goes. WWE is trying to keep a clean image. They want positivity. And if you do some stuff that's not approved of, yes, they're known for getting rid of you on history. They're known to erase what you did because they don't want no part of it. And we clearly see that Mandy Rose is not on the best terms with WWE, you know, to this day. But that sucks, but that's just how it goes. But Mandy Rose is not really the first real double champion. Neither is Paige. It comes down to Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer holds that accolade. There's nothing. Nobody can do anything about that. That's just how it goes at the end of the day. Stephanie holds that. There's nobody can do about it. And that's just it. And we got to give her props. I know Stephanie Vaquer came in fast into NXT. She fast-tracked, did her thing, but that's, you know, WWE always is going to pick the best talent, whether by like or talent or anything. That's just how it goes, and there's no other way about it. So, Mandy Rose, I think you should chill out and sit down somewhere and focus on other stuff besides watching WWE and what they're doing all day. But that's all I have for who's the first women's NXT double champion. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think Mandy Rose is the first NXT Women's Double Champion, Paige or Stephanie Vaquer? I would like to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out the content here at Pink Square Circle, guys. Until then, I will see you guys later.